Hello, everyone. Good day, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Our thinking point for today is it's never about making more, but making more, making the most of what you earn. It's never about making more money, but making the most of how much you earn. I graduated university way back in 2014, and I've been in the labor force for almost a decade and a half now, almost 15 years now. Come to think about it, I've always had part-time jobs with me way back when I was in high school. When I was in high school, I was a freelance correspondent for the local newspaper. During summer breaks, I'd help out. I'd be an assistant for the university's admissions office, etc. And after university, I did pursue medical school. And after medical school, before pursuing specialty training, which doctors call residency, I also did a year and a half, yes, a year and a half as a generalist, as a general practitioner. And the rest was history. So, suffice it to say, I've had so many varied jobs in the past 15 years in the labor force. I've been a journalist, a correspondent. I've been and still am in the academe for my medical school and for my pre-medical university. I own a couple of rental properties, and I'm a co-owner in a small, very small restaurant. Of course, I'm a clinician because I'm a medical doctor by training. And in all these very varied professions, very varied careers, if you will, of course, the pay, the amount of money I made in each of these domains were also quite varied. The spectrum, the range was quite wide, but regardless of how much I made from each of these domains, and of course, how much I made cumulatively in various points of my life as a worker, as a member of the labor force, I realized in actually just last year, right? I realized, I believe, just in the past few months that, of course, it's nice if you can increase, if you can boost your total income. But what's most important, the essential point is no matter how much you make, granted, of course, and this is the important part, the caveat, granted that how much you make is able to fulfill your necessities. That's what's important. It's able to fulfill your obligations. It's able to pay off your debt, your utilities, your bills. It's able to provide a nice enough shelter for yourself and for your family if you have. It's able to feed you and it's able to clothe you. If what you earn is able to fulfill man's necessities, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter how high, how much high it really is, if it's able to give you your needs. And what's most important, rather, is that you are able to make the most, to maximize whatever, however, how much ever it is that you are able to earn. I've felt this firsthand with myself, and I have seen it. I continuously see it among colleagues, among friends. The higher your income increases, of course, your needs, they'll always stay the same. If you have a house, that's it. You're good to go. If you have clothes, you're good to go. You won't be naked. But there's such a thing as lifestyle inflation, wherein these needs, the higher your income goes, the higher is the tendency to beautify, to augment, to accessorize all these basic needs. So let's say in the last year, you were making, let's talk in terms of USD, US dollars. Suppose last year, you were making $50,000 and perhaps you were establishing a business and it was a success. This year, you made 100,000 US dollars, so double of your previous income. And last year, you were already living in a studio apartment. Not exactly shabby, but of course, it's not a mansion. And at your first taste of this doubled income, there is a natural tendency to buy a two-bedroom unit. Even if you're only one person, you want a two-bedroom unit. And in a more luxurious, in a more posh condominium this time. So, of course, you still have the basic necessity of shelter. You'll always have it. You had it last year. But you want to accessorize. You want to augment it. And so, from this comfortable but humble studio unit, you're transferring to this two-bedroom unit in a more posh condominium. Also, you need to show everybody, even if you don't know them, and even if those people don't know you at all, you need to show them that you're a big shot. So, you need to upgrade your Toyota to a BMW. It's not exactly cheap to have a BMW, so you take a loan, a car loan from the bank. Anyway, your reputation, your credit score is quite good because your startup is a success until now. And so you inflate the kind of vehicle you drive. It's still a vehicle. You did have a vehicle last year, but this time you want to augment it. You want to beautify it. And if one is not aware of this lifestyle inflation, of this, I'm not exactly sure if you can call it a natural tendency, but of this, it's very common, that's for sure, of this common tendency to inflate, to augment your basic needs, your necessities. It's easy to assume and to fall into the trap of supposing that this is how things should be, that this is the natural course of things, that whenever our pay grade increases, we need to likewise increase our lifestyle. We need to augment our necessities. If we are not aware of this lifestyle inflation, we'll just assume that that's just the way things are. And when in fact, if we don't upgrade our necessities, if we don't upgrade our clothes to wear the latest designer clothing, Gucci, Louis Vuitton, etc., there's something wrong with us. We're not showing the world, we're not showing strangers in the mall that we've made it or that we are making it. And I've been at this point, I've been at this trap without me knowing. I've fallen into this trap many, many times at various points in my life. And of course, I can't speak for everybody, but for myself, I can 100% confidently say that inflating your lifestyle does not inflate my happiness. That boosting my necessities, boosting my lifestyle did not and will not boost my happiness. And I think this is something which many of us, many people just take for granted. Precisely because we just assume that it's normal. It's normal to continuously upgrade your necessities as your pay grade also increases. I failed to realize that it was a trap. It was a trap all along. And boy, did I gladly, willingly fall into that trap. And more than once in my life. And hopefully I no longer fall into it anymore for the rest of my life. Hopefully. And so at least for me, of course, I can only speak for myself. It's not really finding ways to increase your income, assuming your income is able to provide your necessities, but rather it's making the most of not wasting what every income you have. Thank you very much for joining us today. I hope that little rant fest meant something to anyone. I'll see you again in our next video. Goodbye.